My name is Resty Nabaggala, just like you said. I'm from Uganda. I'm a 24-year-old female Ugandan. Currently, I'm also studying. I'm doing my master's degree, and I'm the founder and the team leader at Here for Her Foundation. I'm a gender equity and equality advocate. Just like my profile says, I do help in creating equitable and non-discriminatory societies, and I do this through advocating for rights of women and the girl child, gender equality, and then also welfare for the marginalized groups within our societies. This I do through research and implementation, yeah, because I believe in evidence-based approaches. That's why I always say research, yes, you front research and then afterwards you're able to analyze what's on the ground and then you're able to implement. Yeah. So my area.
Yeah, and we.
Yeah, sorry. So my
Your
areas
area.
of
Go
work,
ahead.
that is gender and development. As I said, social policy for the my development, how are we able to increase the agency of people so that they can be agents of their own development, not just be beneficiaries of development, but just to make them to act on their own. So that is a mixture of gender and development and human development. So Here for Foundation is a community-based organization that is based in Impigi district, that is Kampala City here in Uganda. And the genesis of Here for Foundation, basically, I got that inspiration from what was happening in my community at that time. I'm not saying that right now the situation is okay, but at least there is some improvement. There's some improvement in that parents have gotten to understand the importance of girl child education and all that. Way back to why I created this organization is that among my peers, those that I grew up when we were still young, it so happened that I'm the only person who managed to graduate at university. No, yes. Thank you. Yeah,
Well,
so when I
congratulations.
reached, when I was in my vacation in senior six, of course, I'd left my village at that time and I was a bit in town. So when I went back to the village to start living there, it hurt me so much that I found most of my peers, majority of them had given birth, and some had gone to town to work as maids, and these were my age mates, 17, 16. So at the moment, literally, I had no one to talk with around the village, like age mates and all that. And I was so hurt by the fact that these are young mothers who are now helpless, seated in their parents' homes, and these were also helpless parents. So I decided to think of what I could offer to the community to just clear up the situation. And when I joined university, it so happened that I got exposed to various civil society organizations where I started volunteering, and I also gotten some mentors within universities, university associations, that I finally developed out an idea of how I can go and give back to my community, how I can go and address, because in my instincts I had it that what happened to my generation should be the end of it, or let not happen to the coming generations. If you're talking about pregnancies, let it end with my
Absolutely.
generation. Let no other generation come in and suffer in teenage pregnancies.
Yeah, so I have a few questions for you, Rusty. First of all, I love the name of your foundation, Here for Her. A beautiful name. I love that. And you also said that you try to focus your work around real data. And I'm curious, tell me, what is the situation right now in Uganda for women and girls? What are the main challenges in your country, particularly in Kampala,
I won't
where you
give you
operate?
the exact figures, but I'll give you the estimate because figures change over and over again. That's what I can say. Yes, but at least from the various
Yeah.
research that is being carried out and all that, I can say when it comes to women and girls, gender-based violence is escalating every now and then. Yes, girls and young women, they are facing so much defilement and rape, And to my surprise or to my disappointment, it is these cases are happening within homes, like not from strangers, but majority of these cases are actually like from relatives, talk about uncles, talk about cousins and all that. So COVID-19 actually disclosed this, because literally before we are saying strangers are defiling these girls, teenage pregnancy is because of the strangers and all that. But now COVID-19, because it was almost a year long when people were confined in their homes, and so many girls got pregnant than ever before, you know. So now this is where our eyes were open, like, okay, so it hasn't been strangers all along, but it is actually like relatives, you know, because at the moment schools were closed, there were no movements, and everyone was at home. And this is where we recorded the highest number of teenage pregnancies, you know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, just for those of you who just joined us, we are joined today by Resty Nabaggala, who's a gender rights advocate, has a foundation called Here for Her. She's based out of Kampala. She's a Merit Star, and she's here today with us to kick off World Merit Week, where we're highlighting the work of our community. And Resty is a Merit Star. A Merit Star is part of a great program we have that brings exemplary change makers like Resty. And make sure to try to share their story and amplify their vision and mission amongst the World Merit community. So thank you so much for joining us today, Resty. Resty was just talking to us about challenges that young women face in Uganda, particularly around gender-based violence, and how COVID-19, the pandemic of COVID-19, really changed the script about how gender-based violence occurs. It seemed like there was a myth before that gender-based violence came from outside of the home, inside of the home, but it turns out that the violence is occurring inside of the home. And part of Resty's interventions, as part of her Here for Her Foundation, is addressing that issue. So can you tell us a little bit about what your organization actually does to address this issue? And also, by the way, for those of you who are joining us right now, if you have a question for Resty, type it in the chat. We are here for you. Of course, I very selfishly get to have this amazing conversation with one of our Merit Stars, but you can too. So if you have a question for Resty, type it in the chat, and we'll make sure that she can answer it. So Resty, what does Here for Her Foundation do to address this this gender-based violence that's happening inside of the home?
For such an interesting and an insightful question. When you look at Anyway, okay, I'll first give what HIAPA is doing when it comes to gender-based violence inside homes, because right now I can say is there is a high rate of information gap, I should say, between the girls and young women themselves, and then also the parents or the caretakers. Consider that actually not to parents who are educated, what they lack is that they lack time for their children, they lack time for their girls and young women, you know. So these girls they just remain, you know, they remain naive, they just get information from their peers and all that, you know. They're left with let's talk of the cousins, they're left with houseboys and houseboys do not take care of them. And when it comes to parents who are not educated, talk about the rural parents, is that they are not knowledgeable at all, but also the girls and young men are not knowledgeable at all, you know. And now when we talk about such cases here in Uganda, and especially in some cultures like my culture, my tribe where I come from, Uganda, so when such things happen, the cases of incest, when they happen, because of our cultural norms and all that, we prefer to respect our families than to protect these girls and young women. So when such a thing happens, we shall keep quiet just to protect the family's dignity and let the girls suffer, you know. So one of the things that HIAPA Foundation is doing is that we are trying to carry out dialogues with parents. We try to talk to parents, you know, to make sure that they are aware of the stages of their children, to make sure that they have, like, you know, conversations with their children, to talk to them, to know how is my child, you know, what is happening in her life, things of that sort, you know, to make sure that they protect, because like never to trust, don't need to trust your girl, a teenage girl, with anyone else, you know. So we try to engage parents, we try to dialogue with parents, you know, but then also we try to offer mentorship to the girls and young women. This is the best we can do also. We engage them, you know, to make them to become bold, we engage them, we equip them with the sexual productive health and rights, the bodily autonomy, in that you have a right, your body, you own your body and no one owns it, We equip them with information in that when such and such a thing happens, at least you're able to run to us, or you're able to run to such a police station, or you're able to call this number, things of that sort. So that at least these girls, even when they're in such environments that are actually not conducive, they have the audacity to fight for themselves, to be bold enough and say no. And this is what is lacking. This is what is being missed out by so many girls. We don't have the voice. How we are raised.
So you work really built. So you work building up the agency to empower young girls to actually speak up against this violence, and you also educate parents to understand the importance of keeping their young children safe, especially in their own home. It's really incredible and beautiful and important work. Also, gosh, how devastating that there's so many young women around the world, not just in Kampala, but who are facing this gender-based violence inside of their home. With their own families. It's a shockingly common occurrence, and unfortunately, maybe for better or for worse, COVID-19 really brought out the truth of this challenge. So, Resty, I'm curious. Can you give us a story about one family or one young girl who your Here for Her Foundation was able to support, and how it worked, and if it did?
Thank you so much. Actually, not to say one family or one. Here for right now, I supported a number of girls, like directly about 200 more girls. Going back to now, we talk about the teenage pregnancies, we're talking about that school dropouts. One of the things that is being missed out in my community is we have what we call period poverty. First of all, is that parents, they are poor, they fight to put bread on the table, So it's difficult for them also to provide for their girls sanitary pads. But then there are also stereotypes that are actually surrounding menstruation, In my culture, when you start menstruating, it means you're a woman. So what the next stage is for you to get married, Then so these are some of the things that so you find at the end of the day, girls miss out school because of the lack of sanitary pads, and you find someone is missing out school like about five times in a term. Before you know it, they get discouraged, they get disoriented, and they have to drop out of school. Some are married off by parents because now you start menstruating. Menstruation is treated as like a misfortune, and you're not actually supposed to associate with anyone of that sort. So what Yakwa has done is that right now we have reached out for over 200 girls, and what we do is we do give them a sanitary, reusable sanitary pads. We target the vulnerable communities, the vulnerable families, and sometimes we go in the communities, sometimes we get them in schools. Teachers help us to identify such girls coming from vulnerable families, and then at least we're able to give out a pack that lasts for a full year. At least you know that within that year, the girl will be comfortable, they will study, without any without overthinking of what am I going to use and all that. But then also talking about the stereotypes, we also engage parents, to treat like menstruation not as like a misfortune, but to support their girls during that time. So those are some of the things that Here for Her has done. But also Here for Her has also gone ahead. For instance, I think we have supported about Philly girls with the scholastic materials, and these were for single mothers who are living in slums, and they're trying so hard to even get rent and maybe food and all that. But what we do is that we're supporting the girls to give them with scholastic materials, at least to attend school.
It's such important work. There's we have many world meriters around the world who are trying to also work on the same issue, which is that when girls reach menstruation age in many countries around the world, it's stigmatized. They're not given the very basic hygienic support they need to be able to maintain their normal lives, like go to school. And so the cascade of challenges that occurs from be it from menstruating, which is a beautiful and natural thing and a part of human maturation, unfortunately it cascades down into a whole bunch of issues that lead directly to long-term poverty for girls around the world, which is a really terrible thing. And it sounds like the work you're doing is directly targeting that issue specifically. So really, I mean, beautiful work that you're doing. Question for you. This will be maybe my last. Maybe I'll have one more. And by the way, if you're just joined today, if you just joined right now, and if you have a question for Resty, please write it in the chat. Okay, we're very lucky to have you today. So, Resty, world meriters love to get into action. That's kind of what differentiates a world meriter from anyone else really around the world. That they see problems that occur in their communities and they want to dive in and help. And sometimes that's starting their own project. And often that is volunteering for others around the world. So I believe you have a project that you've posted on the World Merit platform, platform.worldmerit.org. And the question is, how can our community help you? What do you need? Do you need more people for your team? Do you need more people to be volunteers? Do you need more people to be mentors? What do you need? This is an opportunity for you to ask for it and to also make it very clear in your project that you've posted on World Merit's platform, platform.worldmerit.org, to be very clear about exactly what sort of support you need, because if you ask very clearly, often you'll get it.
Apparently, I think I did post 2 projects. One is a project about Paddy Hub project. This one is still aiming to address the menstrual poverty, because currently we have been getting donations or even like in our pockets, but then we're trying to start producing our own pads as an organization. That is one project. And then the other project is the Girls and the Young Women Leadership Academy. So this is basically to empower young girls and young women with leadership skills, advocacy skills, and all that. So how World Merit can help me to make sure that at least my organization does scale up these projects and bring in impact in my community. First, we need guidance. We need guidance. That's guidance. Yes, I understand we may be doing it, but I know, we are not we are not the custody of knowledge and all that. So you could be having a better way how you think we can actually implement these projects. And we talk about the leadership academy. You may even actually come in and also help us, because we are looking for people also to take up sessions in the leadership academy. So World Merit can even come in and say, okay, based on this and this session, we can take in this, we shall handle this session and take the girls through, because it's going to be a virtual engagement. Then also, yes, then also we are looking for financial resources. Like I said, for the Paddy Hub project, of course, we need to buy machines, we need to buy some materials and all that to help us implement it. And also visibility. We need visibility for our work and what we're doing. So I believe World Merit has all this to help us scale this work the world.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you. We're going to drop links to the both projects that you put on the World Merit platform when we post this interview, which will be just in a moment. So if you're joining us right now, if you're listening to this later, make sure to check out the links below. And if Resty's story inspires you, which certainly inspires me, and if Resty's work inspires you, and if you're in Kampala or if you're anywhere in the world and you want to work on the critical issues of domestic violence and gender-based violence in Kampala, well, this is your opportunity. Click on her program, click the volunteer button, and get in touch with Resty today. Resty, I can say that we are more than happy from the World Merit Organization to join your leadership camp. It's a digital. I know it's a digital camp. We'd be more than happy to have either one of the amazing members of the World Merit team join you to teach your course there. I absolutely love what you're doing. Our Merit Stars, of which you are one, are an incredible group of young change makers, but so is really our entire community is doing really, really spectacular work. I have one last question for you, which is a question that came in from the chat, and this is, what inspires you to create impact? And I'll give you one twist on that question. What inspires you every day to wake up and decide to keep on going? I know it can be very difficult as a change maker to look around and see problems every day. And what makes you get out of bed and continue your
This is a
passion
very
and your
interesting
inspiration?
question. But actually, one of the topmost things that actually I have about like Philip, but when it comes to this, that motivates, that inspires me to keep on every day is every time I see someone that I myself or my organization has saved from a situation, and this person is doing great, I get inspired because I'm like, okay, this is what the
Mm,
world needs. The world needs humility, because this person is not just like there for himself. I'm sure this person is also able to pull out someone else. So I'm like, okay, one by one makes a bundle. If I go ahead also and
mm.
tomorrow I handle another person's hand, this person will also go and handle someone's hand. I believe in this, we can make a better place by holding each other's hands. So that is one of the things that inspire me when it comes to this.
Well, that is beautiful. And I think the World Merit Community is really that, is a community of helping hands. So I reach out my hands to you, Resty. This was an absolutely fantastic opportunity to get to speak to you and get to highlight your work. Such a pleasure and honor. I wish you the absolute best. We're going to be posting Resty's programs, both for projects and information about the Here for Her Foundation. You can find that by following Resty and by following her projects and volunteering for her projects on the World Merit platform, platform.worldmerit.org. Resty, thank you so much for helping us kick off World Merit Week. Stay tuned. We're going to have a whole host of incredible young people like yourselves and highlighting their work that is being done around the world. So Resty, thank you for being our first of the week. I can't wait to continue to follow what you're doing. I'm so excited that you're a Merit Star for this whole year of 2024, and we're excited
I'm
to get to
really
support
so
what you're
thrilled
doing.
and excited to be part of the World Merit team. Honestly, I'm too excited. I don't know. You cannot see the joy in my face, but I'm really excited. Excited to work with you. I'm excited to work with the whole team. Excited to work with Teacher and everyone. And I'm looking forward to really what we can do together, to how you can support the Merit Stars, to scale up the work that they are doing and their various communities. Because I believe with with such small actions, of humanity, we can really change the world. We can make our world a better place for each and everyone. And I'm so excited to really participate in the World
Absolutely,
Merit Week,
couldn't have said it
and
better.
also being being the first person to give out a session. Yeah, I'm so humbled, and I'm looking forward to further engagements and looking forward to also learning and also acquiring from also sorry, getting the good practices that other Merit Stars are also doing in their communities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Resty, thank you so much for your time. We're going to let
Thank
you
you
go
so much.
now, and
Have
I
a
hope you have
wonderful
a
day.
wonderful rest of
Thank
your
you for
day.
hosting me. Bye bye.
Thanks. Thanks. Bye bye, everyone.